Happy morning, darlings. Today's session, Mamu Mein Dum Hai, is a very easy to take session. This is also a session where we begin with the googly. This is also the only session where we talk about how to study, why to study, and what are the tricks which will help you to study well. So of all the 7 sessions, there is only one session where we help children to perform better academically. And this is that session. The title, Mamu Mein Dum Hai, how it came into being, I will discuss with you in a little while. For the time being, the googly. Now, how will you start the session? You start the session by asking children, it is good to know that you have come to school to study, but is it actually important to study? पढ़ाई करना जरूरी है क्या? There are so many people out there in the world who are very successful and they were poor students. तो पढ़ाई करना जरूरी है क्या? There are so many people who dropped out of college and went on to create a great success story out of themselves. तो पढ़ाई करना जरूरी है क्या? And if you want, you can ask children. And in India, everybody knows the company called Jio, thanks to the mobile and shops, Jio Fresh shops. And the founder of Jio, that is Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani, was hardly a literate. But then his son went on to become one of the top richest people in the whole world, and Jio is everywhere today. I really believe that Mukesh Ambani wanted everybody's prayers in the world. तो हम लोग तो अपने देश में आशीर्वाद देते ही हैं, जुग जुग जियो. So I think the debate in his company would have been, हमारे कंपनी का नाम जुग रखे कि जियो रखे. And he wants to be the only one. तो जुग जुग 2 बार आता है तो बोले हटाओ उसको, जियो रखते हैं. My philosophy. जब मैं मुक्कू से मिलूंगा तो पूछ लूंगा उसको. You begin the class by doing मस्ती. क्यों करना है पढ़ाई? अच्छा, अच्छे से पढ़ लिया तो क्या होगा? क्लास की शुरुआत ऐसे करना. And I'm telling you, if there is a teacher inside the classroom, she might have a mild heart attack. क्या कर रहे हैं? बाप रे, I have to stop the class. I have to go and tell the principal what all they are teaching inside the classroom. Allow them to be scandalized for some time. If you are really concerned, you can tell the principal, please send teachers inside my classroom who don't have a blood pressure problem. उनको अगर बीपी है ना, तो आज का क्लास उनके लिए हानिकारक हो सकता है. पूरा मस्ती में करना. Why do we need to study? मतलब जरूरत क्या है? एकेडमिकली परफॉर्म करने की जरूरत ही क्या है? ये पूछ के उनके संग स्टार्ट करने. For about 4-5 minutes, as you talk to them about Dhirubhai, and then you ask them, okay, why do you think we should study? You go prepared with a few answers. One, it helps you to choose a career of your choice. ये देखो, ये क्लासिक सीन होता है ना घर में. कभी कभी बच्चा सिर पकड़ के बैठा है कि कब बंद करेगा, कितना बोलता है कि पढ़ाई करो पढ़ाई करो, बाप रे नहीं करने का मेरे को. Because many times what happens is, at our home, the children look at the educated parents and understand how frustrated they are living there. एजुकेटेड तो है लेकिन गुस्सा आता है, एजुकेटेड तो है लेकिन परेशान है, एजुकेटेड तो है लेकिन डर के रहता है. तो एजुकेशन से होगा क्या मेरे लाइफ में? मतलब ऐसी जिंदगी तो नहीं जीनी है. सो दिस इज द क्लासिक थिंग. फादर इज एंग्री टॉकिंग टू द चाइल्ड, and the child does not want to listen but can't go away because Papa gives pocket money and stuff like that. तो इस तरह का अगली सिचुएशन है, पढ़ाई करो नालायक, पढ़ाई करो. सो व्हेन वी टेल द चिल्ड्रन ना, क्यों पढ़ाई करना है, मेरे को तो लगता है पढ़ाई करने की जरूरत नहीं है, तुमको क्यों लगता है पढ़ना चाहिए. Those children who have been ignoring you for some time will start falling in love with you. कि आज मेरे लायक बात की ना. These backbenchers who would be scribbling and creating a caricature of you inside the classroom would now suddenly look at you and say, ये सही बंदा है, मैंने शायद इसको मिसअंडरस्टैंड किया. So you have to ask this question in complete masti mode. Don't ask this question in serious mode. प्रिंसिपल के टोन में नहीं चाहिए, जिगरी यार के टोन में चाहिए. और कहीं से तुमको बैक बेंच से ना गाना भी सुनाई देगा, तेरे जैसा यार कहां. मतलब कहां थे तुम, आज तक दिखे ही नहीं मेरे को, किसी ने तुम्हारे दिल की दुख समझी. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स maneuver the class slowly towards, if I study and perform academically, I can follow a career of my choice. Second, I can be largely independent in my life. बहुत इंडिपेंडेंस रहेगा मेरे को, मेरे पास. Third, I will look up to myself. When I know I'm performing, all performers look up to themselves. Fourth, I won't be dependent on people's opinion about me. कोई मेरे को देख के बोलेगा ना, येड़ा है क्या, 95% मार्क आया, तेरे को जो सोचना है सोच ले. So you begin the session by talking about धीरूभाई अंबानी. Give them a googly के पढ़ना जरूरी है क्या, and then gently turn it around कि अगर हम अच्छे से पढ़ाई करते हैं तो हमको फायदा क्या हो सकता है. Then you also ask me कि चलो ठीक है, हमारे लिए तो हो गया, I am feeling very good about myself, I value myself, I am not dependent on people's opinion. But when you perform well, what happens to your relationship with the world? Look into any performer and ask them, how's your relationship with the world? And look at somebody who's struggling to perform and ask them, what is your relationship with the world? When I perform, I'm accepted, admired, and respected. Secondly, when I'm a performer, so today you heard Preeti, Inder, Namrata, Hira, they were role models to all of us. They are examples to all of us. So when I'm a performer, my examples are being given. Now all of us want respect, but it comes only when we add value and we are performers. I can get love even if I am not a performer. So when the mother gives birth to a child, the child gets love. The child is not a performer. So प्यार मिल जाएगा, इज्जत नहीं मिलेगी. So if I want respect, I need to be a performer. If I want my name to be given as an example, I need to be a performer. Any person whose example is given, a positive example is given, you will see all of them are performers. When I'm a performer, my suggestions are valued. When I'm not a performer, if I gave a great suggestion also, people will say, Chubet. Obviously, all of us are smart and all of us have a thought and all of us have an opinion. And sometimes it can be a brilliant example, opinion, thought, suggestion that we have. but it will be heard only when I am a performer. With all respect to all the watchmen in the world, because they are also doing a good job. But if the watchman tells the owner of a flat's child that बाबा आपको थोड़ा ना खेलना कम चाहिए, पढ़ाई ज़्यादा करना चाहिए, the child may not listen because he looks at the watchman and says, यार ये watchman ही तो है, performer किधर है? But when a chachu comes home who's very successful, has the latest gizmos, about whom they read in the newspapers, and when the chachu says, बेटा अभी थोड़े दिन के लिए ना खेल कम पढ़ाई ज़्यादा कर, फिर देख तू ना मेरे से भी ज़्यादा आगे जाएगा लाइफ में, the chances are that chachu is being heard. It is not the suggestion, but the source of the suggestion which makes it powerful. And when I'm a performer and I give a suggestion, my suggestion will be heard. I'm a non-performer, I give a suggestion, same suggestion, कोई नहीं सुनेगा. When I'm a performer, I can lift people. Which means I can inspire other people. When I'm not a performer, no, all I can do is go back to Adnan Sami. I can only pray to the world and say, थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, कैसे कैसों को दिया है, ऐसे वैसों को दिया है, मेरी भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे. मतलब ऐसे भीख मांगते रहेंगे. ये म्यूजिकल भीख है ये. If I'm not a performer, that's what I can do. थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, हर चीज के लिए प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज. और उसमें भी पीपल में ऐसे. So when I'm a performer, I can inspire people by my work. अच्छा क्लास में ना ये सब गाने गाना ठीक है, ये तुम्हारे एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए नहीं है, एजुकेशन के लिए है. When you are a performer, now here comes a very beautiful 3-4 points. When you are a performer, you have the freedom to choose your career. Let's say a child gets 90% plus. Now they can choose. मेरे को साइंस में जाना है, मेडिकल में जाना है, कॉमर्स में जाना है, आर्ट में जाना है. मेरे को ले दे के आए 50-45% ना, मैं क्या अपना करियर चूज करेगा? Imagine next point that you're going to say, you're going to tell that if you are a performer, you can also have a choice on whom to get married. ऐसा आंख मार के बोलने का. I'm saying these are small gestures which enamors the whole class to you. Because they believe they can be themselves with you. We are not high and mighty. We don't have to sound like a grandfather. We can be of their grandfather's age, but sound hip and cool where they can connect with us. So these are very small things like that small, thodi si to lift kara de. And you winking at the whole class and saying you will get the partner of your choice because you are a performer, right? You can go to your parents and say, मेरे को इसी से शादी करना है. This is what is the most exciting part of the age group of 16, 17, 18, 19. You know, a girlfriend, a boyfriend of the opposite gender, close to each other, having some time out. थोड़ा late night तक हम लोग बात कर. This is very exciting part of their life. And at that time, if you can tell them कि यार इससे ये मिलेगा, ये तो उन्होंने सोचा ही नहीं है. पूरी दुनिया बोलती है अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो कमाई होगी, अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो अच्छे जगह एडमिशन होगा. अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो मतलब मेरे लाइफ पार्टनर भी मेरे चॉइस का हो सकता है. यार ये एंगल तो किसी ने बताया ही नहीं. आशु के चेहरे से भी ऐसे ही लग रहा है ना, ये एंगल उसको मालूम ही नहीं था. It's exciting. You have the freedom to choose your life partner. Because somebody who's good, they also want to marry somebody who's good or great. So the next point that you say is Stars attract stars. Tell two people who work together, let's say some of you will become businessmen. In performance, you are at a scale of, let's say, 5. People who will want to partner with you will also be people whose performance is 3, 4, 5. Why will somebody who's performing at 9 want to partner with somebody who's performing at 5? तुम जॉइंट स्टडीज किसके साथ करते हो और कौन तुम्हारे साथ करना चाहता है? Performers went to study with performers. Somebody who wants to score 95 does not want to do joint studies with somebody who's scoring 45. So if you want to do business in the future, now speak a little about the future. समझ लो तुमको बिजनेसमैन बनने का है. You are scoring at 5. Somebody else is scoring at 5. Two of you come together. 5 multiplied by 5. Result is 25. Now there is somebody else in your class who wants to score a 9 out of 10. And the partner that he chooses will also be one of those people who scores 9 or 10 out of 10. 9 into 9 is equal to 81. My chance of success, 5 into 5, 25. Their chance of success, 9 into 9, 81. Stars attract stars. विराट कोहली को अनुष्का शर्मा मिलती है. Stars attract stars. Amitabh Bachchan will want to work with a director who's very well established. Stars attract stars. तुम मिलना भी चाहोगे तो वो नहीं मिलेगा. तुमको उनका 2 मिनट चाहिए, वो बात ही नहीं करेंगे तुमसे. Why? Because they're a star and we are not. But if I am a top class performer, I am a gold medalist, if I have stood first in my college in the board, now if I want to meet him, he'll also say, अरे और तो बड़ा होशियार आदमी है, मुझे भी मिलना है. Stars attract stars. And finally, if some of you like sports, you can ask this. How many of you would like to go into business? Those people who raise their hands. How many of you would like to create a career out of sports? Some of them will raise their hands. See, in sports, there is possibility of an injury. Unless, of course, your sport is chess or ludo. In other sports, there is possibility of injury. If injury happens, and if you have been a bad performer in academics, what happens to your future? If injury happens, but you have been a good performer in education, you have a fallback option. Rahul Dravid was very clearly told by his family, by his parents, that if you don't come in the top 5 in your school, your cricket will be closed first. If you are saying मेरे को क्रिकेट खेलने का है, 4 घंटा प्रैक्टिस करने का है, हमको कोई आपत्ति नहीं है. But not by being a nincompoop in your studies. Stars attract stars. So this is the reason why we should perform, and when I perform, what happens to my relationship with the world. Now the question becomes, how do I perform? So this is where the core of the session starts. If I have to perform well, tell the whole class, today we are going to discuss with you very small techniques, छोटे techniques, super easy to implement, which will help you to create better performance with the same amount of effort. Link it to the earlier session by saying, remember the earlier session, consistent, refined, self-motivated effort. So what we are going to discuss today is this R, refined. Today's session is all about chota things that I can do by which I can refine the way I study and make myself a better student and a better performer. And the title of the session is Mamu Mein Dam Hai. All of you are mamus over here. Congratulations. हमने ना थोड़ा बदमाशी किया था. Actually, मामू में मा stands for mind. Mind, don't mind. तो माइंड का स्पेलिंग MIND है, लेकिन मीमू में दम है doesn't sound good. But if you notice the pronunciation, how do you say the word mind? It starts with mind. तो हम बोला चलो हम ना वो हिंदी वाला माँ ले लेते हैं और वो सेट कर देंगे, हम फिट कर देंगे. You know, in the teaching world and in the training world, there is a concept called force fitting. I'm not going over there right now, but just keep that in mind, force fitting, sometimes when I discuss about this. So the title of the session is Ma Mu Me Dam Hai, and Ma stands for mind. Okay? Don't mind. But this is how it is. Mu stands for mood. Once again, we have taken liberties. Mood is MOOD. But pronunciation कैसा है? Mu. तो ये ना हमने हिंदी वाला ले लिया, उसमें से इंग्लिश वाला नहीं लिया. Mind, moods, and may is for methods. Methods. So mind, mood, and method. तो इंग्लिश वाले वर्ड्स है माइंड, मूड और मेथड, जिसका हमने हिंदी में अनुकरण करके मा मू में दम है. सो इफ आई स्टडी कीपिंग इन माइंड मा मू में, बड़ा दमदार पढ़ाई होने वाला है. आपको ओरिजिन ऑफ द टाइटल समझ में आ गया? एंड लाइक आई सेड अर्लियर, डोंट माइंड दिस फोर्स फिटिंग दैट वी हैव डन, बट यू विल फाइंड इट्स वेरी इजी टू रिमेंबर. जैसे डांस में कुछ हुक स्टेप्स होते हैं ना, वी अटेम्प्ट टू क्रिएट हुक टाइटल्स. टफ टाइम नेवर लास्ट, टफ पीपल डू, CRSE, these are all hook titles for us. Similarly, Ma Mu Me Dam Hai is a hook title. Let's begin with how to keep the mind right when I have to study, how to develop the right methods to study, and how to set the right mood to study. This is what the entire session is all about. How to have the right mind, mood, and method for me to study. All of you with me? Can we go ahead? First, let's come to mind. How do I get the mind right? Now, to get the mind right, the first thing is I give an auto suggestion to myself. ये पढ़ के बहुत मजा आएगा. Now, irrespective of whether the subject is easy for you or difficult for you, get into this frame that पढ़ के मजा आएगा. And then find a reason why. Let's say if it is difficult, बोल पढ़ के ना बहुत मजा आएगा, डिफिकल्ट चीज हो गया ना, फिर हम बैठ के ना अच्छे से ना एकदम इजी वाली चीजें करेंगे, मजा आ जाएगा. When the mood is right, your ability to absorb is very high. When the mood is wrong, even if you study for a couple of hours, you won't be able to absorb anything. Similarly, when the mind is in the right place, you will be able to study beautifully well. You will be able to absorb a lot. And when the mind is not in the right place, you won't be able to study well and absorb things better. तुम absorb नहीं कर पाओगे. तो हम क्या करेंगे? सबसे पहले हम अपने आप को बोलेंगे मजा है. What am I doing? I'm preparing my mind. Then what do? I tell myself what we very beautifully call as focus. Get the focus right. When the mind is focused, I can study beautifully well. So anything which is a distraction, usko thoda side kar do, and we'll discuss about this in greater details later on. Focus, composure, auto-suggestion. Now all this helps me to get what we call as FTF and FTR. First things first and first time right. Now listen carefully to this, because this is a concept which is extremely powerful, extremely useful, not only to study, but for all of us to manage our life. I will just go off track from the core of the session into your and my personal life. Today is a world of options where all of us have multiple options for everything. It is your ability to choose wise which creates a beautiful life for you. Now, what is the filter of choosing wisely? Understanding what is important. I'm not talking about what is easy. I'm talking about what is important. A few days back, I said this. We need to understand the difference between confidence and courage. What is the difference between confidence and courage? And the difference is so extraordinary. Confidence always makes you feel good. When you're confident, you always feel good. You can't be confident and not feel good. Confidence makes you feel good. Courage, on the other hand, does not always make you feel good. Courage is not the absence, it's not the absence of fear, but going ahead in spite of fear. So sometimes when you know you are about to do something courageous, your heartbeat might double. You might experience palpitations. There might be sweat trickling down your spine. Everything in your system might say, Ruk ja, hold on, don't do it. And we have that phrase, this is not my cup of tea. There will be a huge thing from within you to say, बाद में करेंगे, थोड़ा और सोच ले, अभी करने की क्या जरूरत है? To be petrified, to freeze, to withdraw is what the mind screams, because it wants to go back to its comfort zone. So courage is not every time about feeling good. In fact, those of us who want to live a courageous life, we have to win over this thing. I want to do things where I feel good. Every now and then you have to make things happen where you don't feel good in the beginning. You feel very bad. You feel deadly scared. You are super anxious. But if it is important, it must be done. Let's rewind a little. It is the value that I add which defines my life. If Naren thinks that he is living a good life, it is not his opinion I am living a good life, but the value that I am adding which defines I am living a good life. Sometimes I need courage to say no to a very important business client of mine where I might be earning 50 lakhs a year. ये 50 लाख छोड़ दूं? 50 lakh. It requires courage. There might be uncertainties. पता नहीं क्या होगा. FTF stands for first things first. जो जरूरी है वो करो. It's an extraordinarily powerful concept. Things which are important will not be at the mercy of things which are comfortable. things which are important will not be at the mercy of things which are comfortable. Things which are important will be a master over things which are comfortable. You can conquer the whole world and all the demons within if you have the approach of first things first. And those of us who have huge potential but we underperform, unknowingly we might be doing first things last. आई नो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, लेकिन नहीं करूंगा तो मर थोड़े नहीं जाऊंगा, बाद में कर लेंगे. नहीं करूंगा तो भूखा थोड़ा ना रहना पड़ेगा, बाद में कर लेंगे. So life will oscillate between people who have little potential but huge performance and some people with huge potential but little performance. In just these three words, first things first. When you have to sit to study, the way you prepare your mind is first things first. मेरा पहला काम क्या है? अच्छे से पढ़ना. क्यों? We already discussed about the benefits of studying. First things first. We have discussed the benefits of being a performer. First things first. And then, since you don't have to put a lot of effort, first time right. You prepare the mind by saying, right now I'm going to study in such a way कि एक बार पढ़ूंगा और अब एकदम अंदर घुस जाएगा. फिर रिवाइज करना, अच्छा ये तो आता है ना, अच्छा ये भी आता है ना, अच्छा ये भी आता है ना, दैट इज हाउ आई विल रिवाइज. एक ही चीज दो तीन बार क्यों पढ़ना? ट्रिपल एफर्ट होगा 3 बार पढ़ना है तो. अभी 10% भी अगर ज्यादा एफर्ट देना पड़ा, टोटल में बहुत कम एफर्ट लगेगा. सो फर्स्ट थिंग्स फर्स्ट, फर्स्ट टाइम राइट. This is a mental attitude. It's the way you prepare your mind. First things first, first time right. Just these two can become the secret of a genius. It's not the potentials. I won't depend on potential. History is filled with people who had extraordinary potential but did not perform. The battlefield is filled with corpses of potentials. The person who sits on the throne not necessarily had greater potential, but the mind, first things first, first time right. This year, there are too many extraordinarily powerful ideas to take from KMM for your personal transformation. Snake and the saw being one. And first things first, first time right. Even if you have heard me speak about it 10 times. If you believe you are not a performer, it is not because you don't have potential. It is because FTR is not happening. First things first, first time right. So FTR is all about stay focused, create composure, and give this authorization to yourself. And the third thing which sets your mind right. So in the mental readiness, I think we have 3 slides. Slide number 1, maza aayega, that is taking care of my emotions. Slide number 2, first things first, first time right. And how do I implement these two? Staying away from all distractions. देखो इस बच्चे को, दिख रहा है उसमें तुमको तुम्हारा चेहरा. Even as adults, distracted by the phone all the time. I know some people who sleep in the night with their notification on loud. रात भर उनको ना पीप पीप चाहिए कि कोई तो मुझे याद कर रहा है, मुझे कुछ तो भी मैसेज आ रहा है. But wherever you study, give them the suggestion that write the word distractions and do a little icon drawing of what distracts you. And either you can look at that and say no. And those of you who came with me to Sacred Space, you can always say na na na. Or visually cancel them with a red pen. ये नहीं करना है मेरे को. Use these visual cues, visual tools. All of us need these cues and tools. रखो उसको आसपास में. With these three very simple steps, मजा आएगा, FTF, FTR, and no to distractions, you get the mind right. Okay, it's taking me about 15 minutes to explain it, but for you to do it should take about 1.5 minutes. Then how do we get the mood right? बहुत simple है, इसमें ज़्यादा explanation की ज़रूरत नहीं है. I get the mood right first by studying in bright light. जितनी लाइट है उतनी एनर्जी है. तुम जितने डल एटमॉस्फेयर में पढ़ाई करोगे उतना ध्यान कम जाता है. Through evolution, the way our body is, we work when there is light and we want to sleep when it is dark. That is why if I go to US, even if I have stayed in India for 54 years, they say the body clock has to adjust. So naturally we are made to live, to perform when there is brightness. So if you have to study and let's say the sun has set, ensure that the lights are as adequate as possible, as good as possible. So study in bright light. Second, avoid sweets and any heavy food when you want to study. So eat healthy. Eat healthy. To get your mood right, smile and think about all the good that you will experience after studies. और ये जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ाई खत्म करो, उसके बाद में क्या करेंगे मालूम? Visualize the joy that you will have and everything good that you want after studies. It could be something as simple as, मम्मी has said पढ़ाई करो फिर पाव भाजी देती हूँ. Visualizing Swapnil as a child, मम्मी would have said बेटा जल्दी पढ़ाई कर ले अच्छे से, मिसल पाव देती हूँ. It can be about time out. पढ़ाई कर लो फिर ना मेरे को 3 घंटा एकदम फ्री हूं मैं. It could be I will have 1 hour with my mobile provided I have completed my studies. जल्दी जल्दी करो, फटाफट करो, अच्छे से करो. It could be I'll be able to sleep well. It could be I'll be able to listen to music, go for a walk, talk to my friends. So to get your mood right, think about all the good that will happen to you after you have studied well. And how to study well? FTF, FTR. So 3 things to set the mind right. Maza aayega, FTF, FTR, and say no to all distractions. 3 things to get my mood right. Study in bright light. Avoid sweet, heavy food and eat healthy food. 3, smile and think about all the good that will happen to you after you have studied well. So मामू हो गया. अब तुम लोगों को मामू समझ में आ गया. Mind and mood. Now it is method. May. What are some of the methods which helps one to study beautifully well? First, understand what kind of a person you are. So there are 3 kinds of learnings which are the most popular, profound and common. We call them as audio, visual and kinesthetic. What is audio? People who are able to study well when they can listen. So their sense of listening is more powerful than their other senses. So like musicians are typically people who can listen well and create something. Painters, on the other hand, are people who are visual in nature. And kinesthetic are people who will make great chefs. So Ritesh can be kinesthetic because you have to use your hands to do a lot of things. You have to do things. Now think about those of you when you were in school, did you have to speak loud when you were studying or could you study silently? If you are a person who wanted silence when you are studying and you are with your books, then you are visual. So in the classroom, when the teacher is explaining something to you on the board, it is completely visual. If you are a person who needs visual, then your eyes are the most powerful tools. But if you are a person who has to listen, so unless somebody is explaining things to you, you don't get it. You need talk, you need voice. Then you are an auditory person in nature. So even when you are studying at home, you are talking loudly. How many of you have been auditory in nature? बोल के ही पढ़ना पड़ता है तुमको, है ना? Quite a few of us, right? And then there is kinesthetic. These are the people who have to write if they have to study. There are three different ways by which we absorb things. Now, another example of kinesthetic person also would be a person who has to walk as they are studying. They can't sit and study. Their body has to get involved. It's not just the eyes. It's not just the ears. They have to get involved completely. Their hands has to get involved. Their feet has to get involved. So help people to understand whether they are visual, auditory or kinesthetic and tell them, for you to study well, understand who you are and take that method. Now some people in the house might tell you, अरे एक जगह बैठ के पढ़ना क्या पूरा घर में घूम घूम के पढ़ता है. Now those people are probably visual in nature, so they don't understand what it means to be kinesthetic in nature. उनको नहीं समझ रहा है. और तुम अगर एक जगह बैठ के पढ़ने की कोशिश करोगे तो उनको समझ में थोड़ा ज्यादा वक्त लगेगा. So explain to people, I am kinesthetic in nature. I study well when I walk. और I study well when I speak loud. घर छोटा है, छत पे जाओ, रूम में बंद कर दो. But that method is needed for somebody to study well. So audio, visual, kinesthetic. Understand what kind of a learner you are. Then there is something called the peak hours and the dull hour. Or rather, let me talk to you about 50-minute hour. Now, what is a 50-minute hour? Don't study non-stop for hours together. What a beautiful gif, na? टाइम हो गया ना, उसके बाद में थोड़ा ब्रेक लेने का. The moment you realize that उतना grasping नहीं हो रहा है, take a break. Like those of you who've been in KMM for 3 years and plus, you know that the 50-minute hour concept was given to us by psychologists in US. So when they give a patient a slot, so let's say you go and meet a psychologist at 5 and it's a 1-hour slot that you've booked. The psychologist will complete his treatment and conversation for 50 minutes. And then he takes a 10-minute break. Now in that 10 minutes, he can take a bio break and go to the washroom. He can wash his face. He can take a 5-minute power nap. He can make a phone call. He can check the email. He can update his notes. But in 10 minutes, he gives himself a break. And then at 6 o'clock, he's ready for the next patient. So 50-minute hour says, the moment you realize that your ability to absorb is dipping, take a micro break, take a small break. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And for the sake of humor, you can always tell the class 50-minute hour does not mean 50 minutes break and 10 minutes studies. It is the other way, 50 minutes of studies and 10 minutes of break. The next is peak hours and dull hours. What is peak hours, dull hours? If I observe my life, I realize there are certain time zones in the day when I'm at my peak of energy. And there are certain times when I'm very dull, I don't want to do anything worthwhile. So when I'm at my peak hour, I am like that bear. You see कैसे dance कर रहा हूँ? ये एकदम full on energy, Duracell battery types. And dull hours में I want to sit like this, सिर नीचे करके. Somebody says hi and we say hi. So find out, do you have a peak hour? If yes, then study the things that you have to understand and remember in that time. And study things that you have to just write notes on your dull hours. Now, this point is probably the weakest of all points. Just mention it. You don't have to go too much deep into peak hours and dull hours. The next point is weekly goals and daily goals. Weekly goals and daily goals. Now, when somebody is preparing for a big exam, let's say children in class 9th and 10th, break down their entire goals into weekly goals. कि ये week में मेरे को ये subjects complete करने हैं, ये week में मेरे को ये chapters complete करने हैं. And then break down those weekly goals into daily achievable goals. Now, going away from the children into your life and my life, most people have no clarity about what they want to do today. I've done this with many people and 98% people fail in this. Let's say I tell Yojana that Yojana, do you want to be a performer? Yojana will say, yes, I want to perform well. I said, okay, let's do something simple. Every morning, just send me what are the top 3 things that you want to do today. When I say 98% don't do it, because I've asked them, they will do it for 2 days, 3 days, उसके बाद बंद हो जाता है. Because suddenly your accountability has gone through the roof. More than that, you have clarity, you have to plan. अच्छा 3 दिन क्या करना है 3 चीज. And that means, oh my God, I have to stay focused. Oh my God, at the end of the day, I will know whether I did well or not. It is better to pretend to be busy than to perform. And that is why some of us will say, काम बहुत किया, busy बहुत था, दिन कहाँ गया मालूम ही नहीं पड़ा. कैसे मालूम नहीं पड़ा भाई? तुम नहीं थे वहां पे. And it's good if you say, दिन बहुत अच्छा गया, इतनी सारी चीजें हुई, टाइम का मालूम नहीं पड़ा, लेकिन काम बहुत हुआ. Otherwise, I will be super busy, but not productive. And I'm telling you, this is a simple technique if you really care about being a performer. The proof of your sincerity is you having clarity. आज मुझे ये 3 चीज करना ही है. And this is in lines with ये week में मुझे ये achieve करना ही है. Most of us do not want to do this. We are happy to be busy. We don't care to be productive. And obviously, it gets reflected on our children also. Break that cycle and tell children, have weekly goals and have daily goals. See, anyway you are alive and anyway you will be doing some work. Why not do it in a system? It's almost like you are running a factory which is manufacturing shoes, but you are busy manufacturing only the right feet shoes. अरे प्लान होता है ना, मालूम पता है एक दिन राइट बनाना है, अगले दिन लेफ्ट बनाना है, फिर एक दिन राइट बनाना है, फिर अगले दिन लेफ्ट बनाना है. नहीं तो बिजी है, सालों साल चल रहा है, सिर्फ राइट शूज बना रहे हो, माल एक्यूमुलेट हो रहा है, जूते बिक नहीं रहे हैं. एंड यू कैन ऑलवेज से तकदीर ने मेरा साथ नहीं दिया. And then if your shoe designs are brilliant, you can also say, I am ahead of my time, you know. The market was not ready for me. अरे मेरे बुद्धू लाल, ना तो तकदीर का सवाल है ना मार्केट का सवाल है. इट इज ऑल अबाउट सीइंग द बिग पिक्चर एंड प्लानिंग द स्मॉल थिंग्स. Just do this FTF, FTR, and not for the children but for you. Every morning, clarity on what are the top 3 things that I'm going to achieve today. And if you want to go one step deeper, this that I want to achieve today, इतने टाइम के अंदर हो जाना चाहिए. So if I have to write every Tuesday an LSM and I tell myself Tuesday, Monday को LSM लिखूंगा, 3 से 4 के बीच में एक वर्ल्ड क्लास लाइफ स्कूल मैसेज लिखना ही है मेरे को. 1 घंटे के अंदर लिख डालना है. And a stupid thing will be, it's a creative process. I don't know how much time. I'm hiding my inefficiencies behind that. I can take notes the entire week and hammer out that article in less than 60 minutes. So peak productivity is FTF, FTR, and clarity about what you want to achieve today in lines with whatever you want to achieve in the long term. And I'm repeating, if you are happy being busy and if you think being busy is adding value, then you won't be able to do this. But if you want to be productive, you don't have an option but to do this. So weekly goals and daily goals. Then probably the most powerful point in study techniques is what we have called preview, study and review. What do we mean by preview, study and review? The children get clarity from the teachers. Okay, what is going to be taught in the class? Let's say tomorrow. कल क्लास में पढ़ाने वाले क्या है? So let's say I am studying maths and I am told that tomorrow is trigonometry, and in trigonometry we'll be discussing about sin theta, cos theta, tan theta. Okay. Now what I need to do in preview is just open that chapter and glance through that chapter. पढ़ के देखता हूं, ऐसे कुछ याद नहीं करना है. I just want to go through it. When I preview, I'll understand what I have understood. Once again, I'm going to tell you something super powerful. One reason why we don't grow or rise is because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. हमारे पास जो छोटा सा इंफॉर्मेशन है ना, हमको लगता है हमको सब मालूम है. मतलब किताब खरीद लिया और मैं आपको पंडित मान लेता हूं. When you don't know what you don't know, your ability to learn and perform will always be less. Preview helps you to understand what you don't know and what you have not understood. तुमने पढ़ा हुआ चैप्टर sin theta, tan theta, cos theta का तुमको नहीं समझ में है. Now when you go inside the school, come to the class and the teacher is beginning to explain, you know that you don't know. Now that is step number 2 of wisdom. Now you know what you don't know. You do preview so that now you understand कि अच्छा, this much I did not know. Earlier you did not know what you did not know. Preview helps you to know what you don't know. And now when the teacher explains in the class, you are completely focused. यार ये तो मुझे आता नहीं है, टीचर को नहीं सुना तो समझ में नहीं आएगा, नुकसान हो जाएगा अपना. So when you do preview properly, you can do study brilliantly well. So preview, go through the chapter. It will help you first with I don't know what I don't know. तो चलो preview करते हैं. प्रीव्यू किया है, नाउ आई नो व्हाट आई डोंट नो. Now when I listen to the teacher, I go back home and I review. When I review, now I'll find out what I knew I did not know. Has it become I know what I know? कल जब प्रीव्यू किया था ये मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा था. आज जब रिव्यू किया है ना, अपने को समझ में आ गया बस. So preview, study, review is an extraordinary process to learn. Any one of you who is interested in learning anything, go through preview, study, review. Preview makes you humble and helps you to focus. Review makes you find out, could you actually grasp it or not? Or do you need to go back to the teacher for clarifications? So extremely powerful method, preview, study, review. In the methods, devote maximum time to preview, study, review. Because this is directly applicable to the children who can apply it on an everyday basis. Any child who goes through preview, study, review, the quantum of revision that they need to do is insignificantly less. जब पढ़ाई की क्वांटिटी नहीं बढ़ानी है हमको. तुम अगर रोज 2 घंटा पढ़ते हो ना, घर में 2 ही घंटा पढ़ो. But you do preview, study, review, you will find your ability to absorb has gone through the roof. So today if you are scoring, let's say 65%, don't be surprised if you score 85% just with these techniques. Mamu mein dam hai. Get the mind right, get the mood right, and get these methods right. Same effort, but exceptional results can be done. Then of course there's the classic thing called key points. When you're studying something, like when I'm taking a session of KMM, the way I take the whole session is in my mind having the key points. कि यार ये चीज मामू में दम है. The title comes so that I remember the key points. Mind mode method, key points. So key points is a very simple yet powerful technique. Then of course studying one unit at a time. एक दिन बैठे हो, एक चीज को अच्छे से कर रहे हो, आधा घंटा पढ़ना है, अच्छे से पढ़ के कंप्लीट करो. Then there's another thing which I have done beautifully well when I used to study, and I believe this in a very fun way helps me to study well. Our joint studies used to be complete quiz. Full quiz. So if me, Pala and Sharma are studying together, and in the night we go to Sanjay Sharma's house to study, and today if we have studied geography, and let's say we've discussed about 4 different kinds of clouds, then Sharma will have a book in his hand and he'll ask all of us, अच्छा बताओ तो आज पढ़ाया था क्लास में कौन से 4 kind of clouds है. So Sharma is free to take geography quiz to all of us. I will take history quiz and Pala might take maths quiz. तो एकदम मस्ती के माहौल में, at the same time also getting ready for the exams. और आज का आज पढ़ाई हुआ है ना, आज के आज क्विज कर दिया ना, बहुत इजी हो गया. सो हर घर में होगा केबीसी, quiz contest. Now with these methods, you will find that you will be able to study well. So preview, study and review. Most powerful. You back preview, study and review with weekly goals. Key points, 1 unit at a time and quiz. So मा, मू, मे, ये तीनों में ना बहुत दम है. And that's why the title of the session is मामू में दम है. I'll just take 5 extra minutes today. Thank you so much, Alex. We definitely wanted to listen to a few people sharing about their profound experiences. And I didn't want to do conjusi today in taking this session, mixing it up with what you need to take inside the classroom and how this can be super relevant to each one of you in your life. You complete the session by speaking about a very simple, powerful attitude कि जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा. मतलब करना ही है तो अच्छे से करेंगे ना. And there you will give them this one example. This is a Russian pole vaulter called Sergei Bubka. He used to do pole vaulting when I was in school. Extraordinary story. Now, pole vault is not a super, let's say, popular sport in the world. But Sergei Bubka is like an icon in the world of sports. If my memory goes right, this guy reset his own world record. He was a part of USSR when USSR was united. And then when it got broken into different places, he, I think, became a part of Ukraine. I'm not very sure. You know how many world records he has set? 17, 17. You know what I mean by it? He has broken his own world record 17 times. Now listen, see if you grasp it. Visualize you are a world record holder. World record holder. What you have done, nobody else has done in the world. And then you go on to break your own world record 17 times. What would be the passion for excellence in Sergei Bubka? वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बनाने के बाद में आराम नहीं करने का. हो गया ना एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड. But I'm still in that sport. I would still like to be a pole vaulter. So why not break my own record? 17 times. To me, the epitome of जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा is Sergei Bubka. So if somebody tells me, Naren, you're doing exceptionally well in life, what you have done, nobody else has done before. Sergei Bubka tells me, 17 world records banao pehle. So tell the kids, जो भी करेगा कमाल का करो. If in case a few of you want, you can take a printout of Sergei Bubka's picture and just show it to children. What a beautiful thing it can be. So this one session is all about performance. It is not about potential. It's about performance. There are very rare fields where I need God-given potential. Without that, I can't perform. Like if I want to be a top-class singer like Arjit Singh, I need God-given talent. उस तरह का गला चाहिए. उस तरह का गला नहीं है ना, तो मैं गीतकार नहीं बन सकता. संगीत का आई कैन स्टिल रैप. रैप के लिए गला नहीं चाहिए, रैप के लिए स्टाइल चाहिए. But for 99.9% things in the world, I don't need too much potential. I just need to care for performance. I need to have this fire within. कुछ करना है. And 99.9% students inside your classroom belong to this category. They believe they don't have too much potential, or they are a bunch of people who everybody says you have potential, but they don't want to put efforts. They're lazy. So for everybody, 100% inside your classroom, this is the most relevant session. And maybe in a few important aspects of your life, this session is very relevant. So let's turn our life around and from today onwards, care about the value that we bring, the kind of respect that we get because we are performers. And somewhere, become a star where Sergey Bubka wants to come and meet us. Instead of we speaking about Sergey Bubka as our role model. So I wish to hear every one of you tell yourself, जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. क्यों? क्योंकि मामू में दम है और तू यार दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा मामू है. Wish you all the best. Rock the class. For all that you want, you will be able to elevate the performance of some children and completely change the way they look at themselves. So do your magic and change lives. Thank you so much. Love you all.